Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer one of the Java interview questions. That is, can we use for loop for printing HashSet elements? The answer is no. We cannot use for loop in Java for printing the HashSet elements because there is no indexing concept. In HashSet, there is no indexing concept. If you go for array list, we have an indexing concept. The first element that is added to the array list will be stored at the index 0. The second element added to the array list will be stored at the index 1. But coming to the hash set, there is no such kind of indexing concept. Hence, we cannot use a normal or general for loop with hash set for iterating through the elements. Okay. So then what is the solution? If you still want to iterate through the elements of the hash set and then print them and all, we have to go for other type of loops like for each loop or iterator method and etc. Okay, but we cannot use a normal for loop in Java for iterating and retrieving or printing the hash set element. That is not possible with the normal for loop base. Let me practically demonstrate and show you. For that, I'll switch to this Eclipse IDE, and here I'll create a new class. Here I'll create a new class. I'll just name this class as class 8 with main method. Suppose if I go with the array list, not hash set. The question is all about the hash set, but I'm going with the array list first. Okay. As I told you, array list, when I create an array list A list is equal to new array list. When I create an array list and hover the mouse on the array list and import this array list from java.util package, here provide less than greater than symbol, let's say. And here if I provide the integer object, let's say, and if I try to add some elements to this array list, all these elements will be stored according to the index. Okay. So if I say 9 here, this 9 object will be stored at the index 0 because this is an array list. It has indexing concept. So it will first element will start with the index 0. A list dot add of let's say 5. This will be stored at the index 1. A list dot add of 7. This will be stored at the index 2. Then A list dot add of 22. This will be stored at the index 3. A list dot add of 0. This will be stored at the index 4. A list dot add of let's say 6. This will be stored at the index 5 and so on. You can add as many number of objects or elements to this array list, and array list has an indexing concept. If you have to iterate through these elements of this array list and retrieve them and print them, then we can use a normal for loop like this. Int I is equal to 0. Here 0 means index, let's say. You can give any variable name here. Okay, I'm just giving I less than a list dot, okay, a list dot size, the size of the array list. So the size of the array list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, less than 6. That means up to the index 5. Then because there is an index concept in array list, I can use a normal for loop. Because there is an index concept, I can use a normal for loop here like this. Okay. System.out.println a list dot get of index. Here I stands for I is having some index value while it is iterating through this for loop. So if I run this code, all the elements of the array list will be iterated with the help of the normal for loop because array list has the indexing concept, and they will be iterated, retrieved using the get method, and they can be printed using the print statement in the output like this. But what if I go with this hash set? If I convert this array, if I change this array list to hash set here, let's say hash set, I'll say set here hash set. Okay. I'm not using array list now. I'm using the hash set here. Hash set is another predefined class in collections framework. And I will try to add the elements using the same add method. We have the same add method in hash set to add the elements to the hash set. Okay. But here the problem is there is no indexing concept. I have to remove the indexing. This element, we don't know at which location or which position it will be saved. Okay. In the hash set because there is no indexing concept. Okay. In array list, we have indexing concept, but in hash set, we don't have the indexing concept. So there is no get method also. Okay. Since there is no indexing concept, we don't have get of index concept also. So we cannot use a normal for loop. with the hash set. If you have to really iterate through the elements of the hash set, then I cannot go with the normal for loop because there is no indexing concept for the elements that are added to this hash set. So I have to go with the for each loop where I have to write like this. Okay, this is not the normal for loop I'm writing. I'm going to use a for each loop where each and every object here is of integer type. So integer, I'll say I colon the hash set name. Like this, I have to create a for each loop. It's not a normal for loop because I'm nowhere using the indexing concept. Okay, so here system.out.println, I have to say I, and this is the only way, guys. Or there is another way also. There are some other ways, but we cannot use a normal for loop. Okay, you see 0, 5, 22, 6, 7, 9. The elements of the hash set got retrieved and printed, but it was not possible with the help of the normal for loop. We have to use for each loop for that, okay? Or any other type of loop we have to use with practical demonstration. We answer this question for you. That is the answer is no. Can we use for loop for printing hash set elements? The answer is no. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye-bye.